After my car accident left scars on my face, I finally visited my mom. She opened the door, took one look at me, and screamed, "What have you done?" When I tried to explain, she just rolled her eyes and snapped, "No man will ever want you." I stayed silent. That was months ago. Today, her boyfriend told me. She spends every night staring at my graduation photos. As soon as my girlfriend and I got married, my mother tried to ruin her life. It all started when she came barging into our home for what she called a surprise house inspection. "What the F is this?" she yelled, looking around at the two unwashed plates in the sink. I was about to tell her to get out, but that's when my wife, Lily, interrupted. She didn't say anything, but instead walked over and immediately started scrubbing them clean. My heart broke, and when I went to open my mouth, Lily instantly shot me a dirty look as if to say, "Don't even think about it." But when she was done with the dishes and started trying to hoover the carpet, I didn't care anymore. I kicked my mom out and let my beautiful wife fall into my arms. I wiped her tears and reassured her that it didn't matter what my mom thought of her, because she was the only woman in my life that mattered. This was enough to make her smile through the tears, but not enough to get her to stop trying. The next week, I came home on a Friday to the smell of my two favorite meals, homemade chicken Alfredo and paella. I practically ran into the kitchen, getting ready to smother my wife with kisses. Suddenly, I was faced with the sight of my mother with an ugly grin on her face. "Your wife's been good today," she remarked, while sounding like the Wicked Witch of the West. I felt a rage crawl up my neck, but that's when my wife grabbed my hand and pulled me into our bedroom. "Your mother is finally starting to like me," she argued. "Plus, our future kids need to have a relationship with her, baby." My eyes softened. I realized my beautiful wife was the most golden-hearted individual I had ever met, and I didn't want to be the one to shut that down. "Okay, honey, just know I'll always love you no matter what." The next week, my mom was over again, except this time neither one of them were cooking or cleaning. Instead, they were planning my mother's 60th birthday gala together, or so I thought. Over the next few days, they called almost every single night for hours at a time, discussing everything. But it wasn't long before I was coming home to Lily bent over the kitchen table, crying her eyes out. The whole thing was stressing her out so much, and had practically taken up all her free time. I asked her if my mother was struggling too, and she just replied with, "Well, not really." At that moment, my heart dropped. "Lily, is my mother doing anything to contribute?" Her silence told me all I needed to know. Again, my mother had found a way to take advantage of the love of my life. I was seeing red. Lily's soft hand stopped me from calling her. "Honey, just let me do this. Just trust me, please." I didn't trust anything about the situation, but I couldn't say no to the pleading look in her big brown eyes. So I nodded and just went to sleep, trying not to think about it. Fast forward to the big day. Lily looked like a princess. I literally fell in love with her all over again. As I drove her to the venue, I kept one hand on the steering wheel and one on her thigh, as a message that no matter what happens, I'll be there. The venue was really cool. Everyone was clothed in beautiful suits and dresses. There were 3 different types of chocolate fountains. Red carpet draped the entire front patio. Everyone was smiling. My mother and her friends were the first people we bumped into, and instead of thanking Lily with flowers or even just a simple hug, she made fun of her. "This is Lily, my son's, well, I guess you could call her a wife." Her friends laughed, and when we both stayed silent, she just turned to us with her Botox-filled smile and said, "I'm kidding." The long, awkward silence that followed was soon broken with my mom's praises. "Vanessa, I can't believe you planned this all by yourself," one of them said. "Yes, with no help. I mean, I just don't know how you do it." I glared at my mom, watching her response like a hawk. "Thanks, guys. I guess with the right motivation, you really can do anything." Lily tensed up. Anger fogged my vision. "Yes, it truly is amazing," I heard Lily chime in. "Where did you get those flowers and cake from BTW? They're beautiful." My mom froze, and a look of panic washed across her face. I smirked. "Yes, Vanessa, you must tell us," another one said. But Lily still wasn't satisfied. She proceeded to pull in women from other conversations, telling them that Vanessa was about to reveal her magic party planning methods. Before I knew it, dozens of women were listening in on our conversation, waiting to hear from my mother where everything came from. Suddenly, Lily came to her rescue. She began reciting exactly where everything was sourced, its price, delivery time, and even the specific color shade. Within seconds, her friends were practically cheering about what a genius Lily was. They were all handing her their husband's business cards, begging her to call and help with their party planning for the price of 4 and some even 5 figures. Her smile was radiant with joy, but little did I know, my mother wouldn't let her get away so easily. And it wasn't long before she taught us exactly what secrets she was hiding. My mother watched from a distance, her expression growing darker as the evening wore on. Around 10 p.m. the cake was brought out, a magnificent creation exactly as Lily had described earlier. My mother stood beside it, preparing to make a speech before cutting the first slice. Just as she began speaking, one of her friends interrupted. "Karen, we simply must know, which bakery did this masterpiece come from? My daughter is getting married next spring, and I'd love to use them." My mother faltered. "Oh, well, it's a local place. Lily mentioned the name earlier, but I forgot to write it down," the woman persisted. All eyes turned to Lily, who smiled sweetly. "It's Bellissimo Bakery on Oak Street. Ask for Marco. He's the master pastry chef who designed this specific cake. I have his direct number if you'd like it." The woman thanked Lily profusely while my mother stood there, cake knife in hand, completely upstaged. After the cake cutting, my mother disappeared for about 20 minutes. When she returned, she had a strange, satisfied look on her face that made me uneasy. She made her way to the center of the room and clinked a spoon against her champagne glass to get everyone's attention. "I want to thank everyone for coming tonight," she announced, her voice carrying across the ballroom. "And I especially want to thank my daughter-in-law, Lily, for her assistance with some of the arrangements." There was polite applause as people looked at Lily, who nodded graciously. "In fact," my mother continued, "I have a special surprise to show my appreciation." She motioned to the DJ, who dimmed the lights. A projector screen descended from the ceiling, and my stomach dropped. Whatever was coming, I knew it wasn't good. "I thought everyone might enjoy seeing some behind-the-scenes moments from the planning process," my mother said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. The screen lit up with a video. It took me a moment to realize what I was seeing. It was Lily, sitting at our dining table, surrounded by planning binders, looking exhausted and frustrated. She was on the phone, and though there was no audio, it was clear she was upset about something. The video cut to another clip of Lily in our kitchen, crying while looking at what appeared to be invoices. Then another of her pacing our living room, running her hands through her hair in obvious distress. With horror, I realized my mother had been recording parts of their video calls without Lily's knowledge or consent. She had captured Lily's moments of stress and frustration during their planning sessions and was now broadcasting them to a room full of people. It was a calculated act of cruelty that left me stunned. The crowd grew uncomfortably quiet as the video continued. I glanced at Lily, whose face had gone completely pale. She was frozen in her seat, eyes wide with shock and humiliation. I'd had enough. I stood up abruptly, my chair scraping loudly against the floor, and marched over to the DJ booth. I unplugged the projector without ceremony, plunging the screen into darkness. "What do you think you're doing?" I demanded, turning to face my mother. She feigned innocence. "I was just showing everyone how dedicated Lily was to making this night perfect. By humiliating her, by invading our privacy." My voice was rising now, and I didn't care who heard. "You recorded her without her knowledge or consent." My mother's fake smile faltered. "Don't be so dramatic. I thought it was sweet." "It was cruel and possibly illegal," I shot back. "And we're leaving." I returned to our table and gently helped Lily to her feet. She was trembling slightly, but her head was held high as we made our way toward the exit. People were whispering and staring, but Lily didn't break her composure. Just as we reached the door, Vanessa approached us. "Lily, dear, I just wanted to say," she began, her voice gentle, "I think what you did for this party was remarkable, and what Karen just did was unforgivable." Several other women nodded in agreement, forming a protective circle around Lily. One by one, they expressed their support and admiration for her, while casting disapproving glances in my mother's direction. "If you're still interested in event planning," one woman said, handing Lily her card, "I'd love to hire you for my anniversary party next month." Lily thanked them all graciously, though I could tell she was fighting back tears. As we finally stepped outside into the cool night air, she let out a shaky breath. "I'm so sorry," I said, pulling her into a hug. "I had no idea she would do something like that." Lily pulled back slightly to look at me. "It's not your fault, and honestly, I think she just did me a favor." "What do you mean? Those women in there, they saw right through her. They know exactly who did the work and who tried to take credit, and now they know exactly what kind of person your mother really is." She was right. My mother had overplayed her hand, and it had backfired spectacularly. In trying to humiliate Lily, she had only exposed her own pettiness and cruelty. As we drove home in silence, I couldn't stop thinking about how things had escalated to this point. I had let my mother's behavior go unchecked for too long, always making excuses or looking the other way, but seeing her publicly humiliate the woman I loved had crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. When we got home, Lily kicked off her heels and collapsed onto our couch. Milo immediately jumped into her lap, purring loudly as if he sensed she needed comfort. "What do we do now?" she asked quietly, stroking the cat's fur. I sat beside her, taking her free hand in mine. "Whatever you want to do, but I think it's time I set some serious boundaries with my mother, or maybe cut her off completely." Lily considered this for a moment. "Let's sleep on it. Tonight was a lot." I agreed, and we got ready for bed in companionable silence. As we lay in the darkness, Lily curled against my side. I felt felt a strange mix of anger and relief. Anger at my mother for her behavior, but relief that the truth was finally out in the open. Just as I was drifting off to sleep, my phone buzzed with a text. It was from my mother. "I hope you're happy. You've ruined my special night. We need to talk tomorrow." I showed the message to Lily, who read it and shook her head in disbelief. "She still doesn't get it, does she?" Lily murmured. "No, she doesn't," I replied, turning off my phone without responding. But that's not our problem anymore. Little did I know, my mother wasn't done with us yet. The next morning, we woke up to find she had posted a heavily edited version of the events on her Facebook page, painting herself as the victim, and Lily as an ungrateful, attention-seeking daughter-in-law who had tried to hijack her birthday celebration. Several of her friends had commented with sympathetic messages, clearly only hearing her side of the story. But to my surprise, many others, including Vanessa and some of the women who had spoken to Lily at the party, had defended her in the comments, calling out my mother's behavior as inappropriate and mean-spirited. The post had already been shared dozens of times, creating a social media firestorm that was quickly spiraling out of control. My phone was blowing up with messages from relatives and friends asking what had really happened. Lily looked at me across the breakfast table, her expression unreadable. "So much for sleeping on it," she said. "Looks like your mother has made the decision for us." I nodded grimly, scrolling through the mounting notifications. This public smear campaign against my wife was the final straw. No more excuses, no more second chances. My mother had shown her true colors to everyone, and now it was time for me to stand firmly by Lily's side and protect our relationship from any further damage. "I think it's time we both blocked her on everything," I said decisively, setting my phone down. "And maybe take a little vacation while this blows over. You deserve some peace after everything she's put you through." Lily reached across the table and squeezed my hand, a small smile forming on her lips. "I hear the Bahamas are nice this time of year. My mother-in-law from hell started a war against my wife the moment we got married." Conclusion. The Bahamas comment actually made me laugh for the first time in days. I looked at my amazing wife, sitting there in her pajamas with bedhead and dark circles under her eyes, still somehow looking like the most beautiful woman in the world to me. "You know what? Let's actually do it," I said, grabbing my laptop. "Let's book a trip right now." Lily's eyes widened. "Wait, seriously?" I was just joking. "I'm dead serious. We deserve it after the nightmare my mother put us through." I was already pulling up travel sites. "Plus, I think we need some distance from this whole situation." While I searched for flights, Lily made us coffee and toast. We sat at the kitchen table scrolling through resort options, and for a moment it felt like we were back to our normal selves. Milo jumped on the table, trying to sit on my keyboard like he always does. "1 week in Nassau," I announced, showing Lily the resort I'd found. "All-inclusive beachfront room, leaving tomorrow night. What do you think?" She bit her lip. "Can we afford it after all the money we spent on your mom's party?" "We'll put it on a different credit card," I said, only half joking. "And when we get back, we're getting every penny back from my mother, even if I have to take her to small claims court." Lily nodded, a determined look crossing her face. "Book it." I clicked confirm on the reservation, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders. We were getting away from this mess, at least temporarily. My phone buzzed again. My mother was now calling, probably realizing her Facebook attack wasn't getting the reaction she wanted. I declined the call and blocked her number. Lily did the same on her phone. "What about work?" she asked suddenly. "I've got vacation days saved up. Don't you have spring break next week anyway?" She nodded. "Perfect timing, I guess." We spent the rest of the day packing and preparing for our impromptu vacation. I emailed my boss explaining I needed emergency personal time, and Lily made arrangements for her classroom. We asked our neighbor to feed Milo while we were gone. That evening, there was a knock at our door. I tensed up, worried it might be my mother trying to force a confrontation. I peeked through the peephole and was relieved to see it was just Vanessa, my mom's friend from the party. I opened the door cautiously. "Vanessa, hi, this is unexpected." She stood there awkwardly holding a gift bag. "I hope I'm not intruding. I wanted to check on Lily after what happened last night." I invited her in, and Lily came out from the bedroom where she'd been packing. She looked surprised to see Vanessa, but greeted her warmly. "I brought you something," Vanessa said, handing Lily the gift bag. "Just a little thank you for all your hard work on the party." Lily opened it to find a beautiful scarf and a gift card to a local spa. "Vanessa, this is so thoughtful, but you didn't need to." "I wanted to," Vanessa interrupted. "And I also wanted to apologize for Karen's behavior. What she did was inexcusable." She sat down on our couch, and we joined her. "I've known Karen for 30 years, she continued. "She's always been difficult, but lately, she's gotten worse. Several of us have noticed it." I wasn't surprised to hear this. My mother had always been self-centered, but her behavior had definitely escalated since Lily and I got married. "The thing is," Vanessa said, lowering her voice like she was sharing a secret. Karen is terrified of being replaced. When her own mother-in-law was alive, she made Karen's life miserable. I think she's repeating the pattern without even realizing it. This was news to me. My grandmother had died before I was born, and my mother rarely talked about her. That doesn't excuse what she did, I said firmly. Of course not, Vanessa agreed. I'm just trying to understand it myself. Anyway, I wanted you both to know that many of us are distancing ourselves from Karen after what happened. And Lily, several ladies from the party asked me to give you their contact information. They were serious about hiring you for event planning. She handed Lily a small stack of business cards. Lily flipped through them, looking stunned. Thank you, Vanessa, she said sincerely. This means a lot. After Vanessa left, Lily stared at the business cards in her hand. I can't believe this, she said. These women run the social scene in this town. If they're serious about hiring me, you could start your own event planning business, I finished for her. You'd be amazing at it. She smiled, tucking the cards into her purse. Maybe. Let's get through this vacation first. The next day, we were almost finished packing when my phone rang with an unknown number. Normally, I'd ignore it, but something told me to answer. Hello? Is this Taylor? It was a woman's voice I didn't recognize. Yes. Who's this? This is Quinn. I'm a nurse at Memorial Hospital. Your mother was brought in about an hour ago. She's asking for you. My stomach dropped. What happened? Is she okay? She had what appears to be a panic attack. Her blood pressure was extremely elevated. She's stable now, but quite upset. She's insisting on seeing you. I covered the phone and explained the situation to Lily. Her expression was conflicted. What do you want to do? She asked. Part of me wanted to ignore the call and get on our flight as planned. My mother was probably fine, and this felt like another manipulation tactic. But what if it was serious? I should at least check on her, I decided. Our flight's not until tonight anyway. Lily nodded. I'll come with you. I was surprised. You don't have to do that. We're in this together, she said simply. We arrived at the hospital 30 minutes later. The nurse directed us to a room where my mother was lying in bed, looking smaller and older than I remembered. When she saw us, her eyes widened in surprise. You came, she said, her voice hoarse. Both of you. I stayed near the door, not ready to get too close. The nurse said you had a panic attack. She nodded weakly. I couldn't breathe. My chest hurt so bad I thought I was having a heart attack. Despite everything, I felt a twinge of concern. What did the doctor say? That I need to reduce my stress levels? She gave a bitter laugh. Easy for him to say. There was an awkward silence. I noticed Lily shifting uncomfortably beside me. Look, my mother finally said, I know you're both angry with me, and you have every right to be. I was shocked. In 35 years, I'd never heard my mother admit she was wrong about anything. What I did at the party was inexcusable, she continued, avoiding our eyes. I was jealous. Everyone was praising Lily, and I felt invisible at my own birthday. So you decided to humiliate her? I couldn't keep the anger from my voice. I wasn't thinking clearly. I just wanted to be the center of attention again. She looked at Lily directly for the first time. I'm sorry. I know that probably doesn't mean much to you right now. Lily didn't respond immediately. She studied my mother's face, probably trying to determine if this apology was genuine or just another manipulation. Why have you been so cruel to me? Lily finally asked. From the very beginning, you've treated me like I'm not good enough for your son. My mother sighed. Because I was afraid. Of what? I asked. Of losing you, she said, looking at me. When you got married, I panicked. I thought Lily would take you away from me completely, so I tried to drive her away first. It was such a childish reason, but somehow it made perfect sense. My mother had always been possessive of me, especially after my dad left when I was 10. That's not how family works, Mom, I said. Lily wasn't replacing you. She was joining our family. I know that now, she said quietly. After the party, when everyone was calling me out on Facebook and my own friends were taking Lily's side, I realized how badly I'd messed up. I've alienated everyone, including my own son. She started crying, real tears that made her makeup run. It was so unlike her carefully maintained image that I actually believed she might be sincere. Lily surprised me by moving closer to the bed. I never wanted to come between you and your son, she said. I just wanted us all to get along. My mother nodded, wiping her eyes. I know, you've been more patient than I deserved. The doctor came in then, interrupting our conversation. He confirmed it was indeed a panic attack, not a heart issue, but warned my mother that her blood pressure was concerning. He prescribed medication and recommended she follow up with her primary care doctor. When he left, my mother looked at us hesitantly. The nurse mentioned you two were going on a trip. We're flying to the Bahamas tonight, I confirmed. We need some time away from everything. She nodded. Of course, you should go. I'll be fine. She seemed genuinely resigned, not trying to guilt us into staying. It was so unlike her usual tactics that that it caught me off guard. When we get back, I said carefully, we need to have a serious conversation about boundaries and about the money you owe us for the party. She looked surprised, but nodded. That's fair. I'll pay you back every cent, I promise. The nurse came in to say they were keeping my mother overnight for observation. We said awkward goodbyes and headed back to our apartment to finish packing. Do you think she meant it? Lily asked in the car. The apology? I sighed. I think she meant it in the moment. Whether she follows through is another story. People can change, Lily said, always the optimist. Maybe, I conceded, but I'm not counting on it. We made it to the airport with plenty of time to spare. As we waited at the gate, Lily scrolled through the business cards Vanessa had given her, researching the women online. These are some seriously connected people, she said, showing me the LinkedIn profile of one woman who apparently ran a major charity foundation. If I actually started an event planning business, you'd crush it, I finished for her. You're organized, creative, and everyone loves you. She smiled, leaning her head on my shoulder. Maybe this whole nightmare with your mom was a blessing in disguise. Our flight was called, and we boarded the plane. As we settled into our seats, I felt the tension of the past months finally starting to ease. Whatever happened with my mother, Lily and I would face it together. The week in the Bahamas was exactly what we needed. We spent our days on the beach, swimming in the crystal clear water and drinking fruity cocktails with little umbrellas. We didn't check social media or emails. It was like the outside world didn't exist. On our last night, we had dinner on the beach. Lily looked gorgeous in a white sundress, her skin glowing from a week in the sun. I realized I hadn't seen her this relaxed in months. I've been thinking, she said, sipping her wine. When we get back, I want to start that event planning business for real. I already have potential clients, and I've got the summer break to get it off the ground before school starts again. I think that's a fantastic idea, I said sincerely. You've got a natural talent for it, she smiled. And about your mom, I think we should give her a chance to prove she's changed, with strict boundaries, of course. I was less enthusiastic about this part, but I nodded. One chance, and at the first sign she's falling back into old patterns, we're done. When we returned home, tanned and refreshed, there was a large envelope waiting in our mailbox. Inside was a cashier's check for $5,000 and a handwritten note from my mother. This covers the party expenses. I've also made an appointment with a therapist to work on my issues. If you're willing, I'd like to meet for coffee sometime to discuss those boundaries you mentioned. No pressure. Mom, I showed the note to Lily, who raised her eyebrows in surprise. Well, that's a start, she said cautiously. Over the next few months, things slowly improved. My mother actually went to therapy and seemed to be making an effort to change. We started with short public meetings for coffee, then gradually worked up to occasional dinners. She still had her moments, but she was trying. Meanwhile, Lily's event planning business took off. The women from my mother's party spread the word, and soon she was booking weddings, charity galas, and corporate events. By the end of summer, she decided to take a leave of absence from teaching to focus on her new career. As for my mother, she eventually apologized to Lily properly. Not just a generic, "I'm sorry," but a specific acknowledgement of all the ways she'd tried to undermine her. She even offered to help with Lily's business by referring clients, though we politely declined that particular offer. Our relationship with her will probably never be perfect. There are still awkward moments and old habits that die hard, but at least now there's honesty between us and clear consequences when boundaries are crossed. Looking back, I'm amazed at how Lily handled everything. She never stooped to my mother's level or gave up on the possibility of peace. She showed more grace and maturity than I would have in her position. The other day, I overheard Lily on the phone with a potential client. "Yes, I planned a 60th birthday gala that was quite memorable," she was saying. "It actually launched my business." She caught my eye and winked. Sometimes the worst experiences lead to unexpected opportunities. My mother's attempt to humiliate Lily ended up empowering her instead. And while I'd never thank my mother for her behavior, I'm grateful for how it all turned out. Lily's business continues to grow. Our marriage is stronger than ever. And my mother, well, she's learning to be a better person, slowly, one day at a time.